Okay. We are back. All right. We are back, and it looks like I am moving at my intended speed rate. Okay. So okay, hold on. Let me make sure I am live on Instagram too to get that set up. All right. Right now I am going to see if I can get the folks back who are on my YouTube. So how do I share this? What is nah, I'm gonna show hello. We are here to do this grant masterclass. All right, and we're gonna get right into it because I want to make sure that everybody gets all the info that they need. But I want to make sure anybody who was outside of YouTube can hop back in. Also, benefit is that if you do not get to see this, if you didn't get to watch it live, no worries, you could actually see the replay on my YouTube. So if you just go to the link in my bio, if you are on my social media, you can find me there. Hello. Hi, how are you? What's up to everybody out there in the social world? If you have any questions or you want to show this to somebody who is also interested in applying for this grant, you can send them the link to this video on YouTube. You can send them that YouTube link. All right. Come on in. Welcome in. Now, the entire purpose of this live video is to go in depth on the $15,000 grant that I posted onto my social page. It was the TEDx grant. And I say TEDx, but it's really TED. I'm so used to saying TEDx. But it was a TED grant, and I'm gonna pull it up onto the screen so that you can see that here. Boom. This is the one. This is what we're gonna be talking about today. I'm interested to see what it looks like. I'm so excited because StreamYard recently just allowed me to be able to do vertical. Can I add a link? Oh, I can? That's crazy. I'm going to link it. Can I do that? That's crazy. Hey, look at that. The future is among us. The future is among us. That's fantastic. Okay. I am adjusting this so that everybody can see what's going on here, but is it possible for me? Give me 1 second as I try to make sure I have this layout together. Okay, I can't make that any bigger, but I can make me bigger. All right, sweet. And then on this side, I'm gonna go here. Can I go forward? Oh, I can go forward. What I'm doing will make sense in like 3 seconds. I just need to make sure that I could see me and you could see me. So I ain't doing too much, you know what I'm saying? Boom, 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 save, custom layer. Boom, that's what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna do it like that. All right, we here, baby. We got it. Okay, so this video is specifically here to help out all the folks who are interested in applying to the TED and POSCA Global Artist Search. I am going to start this video off by saying I am not with either one of these groups. Okay, I am not a part of TED. I am not a part of POSCA. I am not affiliated with any of these groups. You feel me? And I am making this video purely because I know that there are people who want to apply to this grant and they're concerned. They're like, yo, I want this 15K to bring this idea to life, or I don't know if my idea is something that's going to work for this project. I would just like to get your feedback. That is what this video is for. And I'm going to be talking to you about the strategy that I would use to apply for this. I'm going to be going through this as I would with any of the grants that I've applied for. If you follow me on social media, I've been applying for grants for over 6 years. I made over $350,000 in grants solo, right? Without no LLC or, I don't have a nonprofit or anything like that. I was getting these grants as an individual artist just for me to be able to create and live my wildest dreams. Okay. So, this is truly an opportunity for anybody if they're willing to compete for it. And this isn't just for this grant, right? If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I post grants all the time. I am posting grants constantly. The reason why I tell people to apply to them is because once you apply to one, you're going to get better at applying to more. And the caveat is the more grants you apply to, the greater chance you have of success. All right. That's what we want to do. We want to win. And I'm going to show you how to win. Excuse me. I'm going to show you how to win. I'm going to break it down for you exactly on how to do that when it comes to a grant like this. I'm going to show you what I would go through in my mind. And right now, anybody over there on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram, please write into the chat, what is your art form? What is your craft? Tell me now. Tell me now what your craft is so that as I go through this application, I could start thinking about how to articulate it for your specific craft. Okay, so I need to know, do we have painters? Do we have sculptors? Like, who do we have in the room? Because this is it's a different application based on whatever craft you are going to apply with. Okay. So please drop it in the chat so I understand who is actually in the room. Because if I don't be talking nothing about the sculptors, don't come for me. If I don't say nothing about the filmmakers, this is your opportunity. Please tell me what it is you do. And you're like, yo, I really want to apply for this. This is the thing that I got going on. Okay. All right. We got a lot of artists. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, cool. So we have some filmmakers. We got mixed media. We got nail artists, music artists, painting. Okay, a lot of music artists. All right, event curators. Here's a good example, right? You see all these music artists that are applying, that are dropping inside the chat. You got to think. These are all people who are going to be interested in applying to this opportunity. And Ted, this global artist search is selecting four total. 4 people total, right? Which is pretty competitive. At 4 people, that's pretty competitive, but it's also better than you apply to some of these and they only choose one person, but they are choosing 4 people. So if you are going to apply as a music artist, you have to be strategic. How are you going to set yourself apart from all the other music artists that are applying? Okay. Painter, children's books, and a poet. Awesome. Who else we got here? All right, cool. So we have a lot of music. We got like the painters. We got a nail artist. That is fire. I need to get mine done. Hopefully I can't see him on camera. Hopefully you can't see him on camera. Yeah, you saw how many of those. He's like, oh, there's a lot of music artists. The thing about when you apply for opportunities, you have to think about who else is applying. If you do that, like if you understand the strategy, if you understand who is on the field, it's not even about what you write about. It's how do you set yourself apart from everybody else? Because I'm going to tell you something right here, right now. If you take away nothing from what I'm about to say, understand different is better than better. Okay? There could be a lot of people who are great at what they do, but if you are different, I have been in so many situations where it'll be a whole bunch of painters apply and I'm a poet. So I'll come in there and be like, I have this idea for a poet residency. And I'd be like, wait, what? We just saw all these painters. And now, you know what I mean? You came in here as the anomaly, as the outlier. And that is exactly what you are. All right. All right, dreamers, you are indeed the outlier. Okay. So let's get into the application. If you do not have the link, you can click on the link. It is on Instagram. I am going to drop it in the caption in the posts So for the folks on YouTube and on Twitch, you should be able to click that link and it will take you over. It could take you over to the actual application. Okay, cool. Now, anytime somebody looks at this app onto a grant page, I know you're looking at the basics. I want $15,000. This is when the application closes. How on earth do I answer these questions? The first thing we're going to address right now is that there is a theme. The theme is called visible mending. That means that your art needs to do something that repairs the community. And I'm not going to go into the deep magnitude of what that is. You could read about it because they talked about kintsugi, which is the idea that broken things, you repair them and you turn them into beautiful pieces of art. That right there is alchemy. So whatever project you're doing, because if they're painting this picture of these are broken things and we're turning it into art, whatever your idea is needs to symbolize the exact same thing. This isn't just about like, okay, they're going to give you 15 grand to do whatever you want. When people give out grants, they want you to create projects that are in alignment with their goals. It is not about making, the life of an artist easier or to like, we're going to do things that make people feel happy inside. That's not what it is. They have a goal, a specific purpose, and you need to be the one that fits into it. If you don't fit into it, that's fine, because there are plenty of other opportunities for you to look from, or you could just adjust your idea to fit whatever it is. So whatever you are doing needs to go from being taking something and turning it into something else, which is why I'm interested to see how you wanted to pitch like the nail artistry, right? I'd love to see how you wanted to pitch that, because that would be an interesting conversation to have. I'm convinced that I can like reframe anything, but I would love to know what you would have pitched and then we could talk about it. And if anyone in the chat has ideas about what they already wanted to pitch for this residency, drop it in the chat so I can see it when we go through it. Okay. So this is on visible mending, which means that it needs to be focused on repair. I'm going to go down to the part that I actually think is the most important here. Okay. You can generalize everything that's going on here. I'm going to go to the parts that I'm telling you is going to make the dramatic difference. The dramatic difference is going to come from this section. Can I make this bigger? I'm going to make this bigger. We are particularly interested in proposals that are rooted in a specific local context, community engaged. It's participatory, community engaged, conceptually strong, but logistically achievable. I want to talk about this section alone. And the reason is because if you can hit every single one of these sections, you are putting yourself into a position where they must look at your application and say, well, they have like, there's nothing missing from what I'm looking for. When they say they want something rooted in specific local context, it means that whatever you're doing is connected to the space that you are doing it in. Example, I live in Philadelphia. Okay. If I wanted to do a mural project on literacy, that I would connect that to the idea that Philadelphia schools have a certain literacy rate. Maybe, I'm pretty sure one of the lowest in the country. Is a statistic that I heard, so don't quote me on it. But let's say it's something like that, right? Where I'm saying that in this particular neighborhood that I live in, the literacy rate is this number. We are going to create something that then gives awareness. And then, people will do like workshops to create poems that we will then turn into murals to help advocate for an increased literacy rate. The point I'm trying to make is that whatever idea you have has to be grounded in your local community. It must also involve your local community. Okay. So if you are a filmmaker, it means that what you're doing, the film that you're creating, needs to be connected to the environment that you're doing it in. Some way, somehow. If you are going to, like, again, I live in Philadelphia. I was a filmmaker doing a documentary on dirt bikes would be rooted in the local context. You ever seen them dirt bikers? You know what I'm saying? They vroom, vroom. There's mad folks on dirt bikes just popping wheelies and stuff like that. That's a local culture here in Philadelphia. Okay. And then when it says about community engagement, it means it needs to involve the community. Okay. They need to be, whether you want to do workshops, whether you want to do whether you want to do something where even you take polls, from the actual people and get more information, but people need to be involved in your project. It needs to inherently involve other people. Okay. For everybody who's in the chat right now, I need to make sure everybody alive. We all still with it. Okay. I want to make sure we all live. We all still with it. How y'all feeling about this? Y'all think it to yourselves like, oh yeah, no, I got an idea that's really going to work. Or I don't know about this one. Let me know in the chat. Because this is your opportunity to ask me any questions about your specific project. Okay. Now, the next thing, conceptually strong, but logistically achievable. It means that whatever it is needs to be something that they can talk about. And I'm going to say this because there's two things: conceptually strong, but logistically achievable, and then open to documentation are the same thing. And I'm going to explain to you why. The last three are the exact same thing. These three, they may have been written differently, but they are looking for the exact same thing. Okay. What they want is something that they can sell. And by sell, I mean promote. They want something where it's like, wow, like when I tell people about this, it's going to hit. It's going to look like I really did something. We invested in something life-changing. That's what it means by conceptually strong, right? When it says logistically achievable, it means that you have to be able to do this under $15,000. And $15,000, by the way, that includes, you got to pay taxes on that. All right. I'm not here to be your advisor, but there are taxes and there are overhead and your production. Like 15,000 is the entirety of the grant. Okay. It's going to be every single thing. Okay. Visually and emotionally compelling, and then open to documentation. They specifically, not just here in the page, but they also specifically inside of their frequently asked questions put something here that I think we should all take a moment to look at. Okay. And inside their frequently asked, where'd it go? They are, okay, cool. Right here. Documentation is a central component of the residency, and selected artists will collaborate with the team to contribute to the shared documentary and storytelling outputs across the cohort. All right. Which means, I don't know why I glitched. It looked like I glitched. Okay. Which means you need to be able to document whatever it is that you are building. This is the people who they choose are going to be people who have experience already documenting their ideas. Those are the people who they're going to choose. Okay. And the reason why they're going to do that is because you don't see what I'm reading. What? You don't see this? Am I tripping? Or is it? Oh, you know, a shout out to you is 4411. You are absolutely right. You don't see what I'm reading. You are absolutely right. Y'all need to stay on top of me. You know what I mean? Y'all need to stay on top of me. Okay, great. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Is 441. Okay. Documentation is a central component of the residency. Selected artists will collaborate. When they say that documentation is a central component, it means that you must. Okay. You must be able to document. Okay. Now, let's get over to where it really matters. If you noticed, I'm not just reading the application. I'm not just reading the page. What I'm doing is I am thinking about the strategy behind it. And I want to show you all something. I see a bunch of questions in the chat, and I'm going to answer your questions real soon. Okay. I see a bunch of questions in the chat. I'm about to get to it. I want to show you guys something right now. Okay. And it's the app that I'm building. It looks atrocious right now. Please, there's some bugs going on, but it's still functional and it still works. And this is how it works. Up here at the top, I am going to drop in the URL of that residency, and then I'm going to click analyze. Excuse me. It's going to grab the link. It's going to go through the analysis. And there we go. We are now in the dashboard. This dashboard is going to give you all of the information that you need to develop a strategy to win. Everything I was talking about in terms of the terms and conditions or the pages and things like that, even understanding how the residency is structured or things about your application. Okay. All of this is in here where it gives you strategic insights. Like for your application, name and explain your artistic philosophy or approach in your bio and proposal, not just what you will make. Give it language specific enough that a filmmaker could use it as a through line for a 15-minute documentary. Okay. We're going to go through the strategy real quick, this page, and then I'm going to go through all the questions on the actual application. All right. Let me look right here. Okay. Community-based healing practice that includes an embodied experience that I hope to be filmed. I have not been filming an editing experience. Can people team up and submit together? So you need to submit as an individual artist because they're selecting 4 artists total for this project. All right. I'm going to come out of this real quick and then I'm just going to answer all the questions that I'm getting in the chat right now. So please ask any questions before I get into the strategy. So you do have to submit as an individual artist. What I will say though, is that if you could, it is supposed to be participatory. It's supposed to be community involved, which means you should, you can submit for yourself and then just talk about how those people are going to help. That is going to help your application. Okay. That's going to help your application tremendously. Okay. I'm an expat living in Bangkok, doing a benefit concert series and creating platforms for independent artists. Fire. Okay. So the benefit series, essentially what you could be pitching is one of those benefit concerts, because that benefit concert could be the community experience. The only thing I would say about that concert is that it would need to directly involve repair to the community, and a repair that is specific to that community. All right. Because every community has different things. Like there are places in New York that are food deserts. So creating a community garden would be something that the community can get involved in. It repairs a problem, and that problem is specific to the area. Are you seeing where I'm going here? Okay. Let me go over to YouTube. Okay. So we have some painting fine artists on oil and canvas. Hello, Aaliyah. Hi, still here thinking of ideas. Great. Can you do art, fashion, and mental health related? You got to break that one down for me. Let me know. The best ideas, like they said before, are conceptually strong. Do not string together all of the crafts that you do thinking that if I give them more, then they're more likely to say yes. Okay. So if you want to do art, fashion, and it's mental health related, talk to me about how. Right. So like, let's say if it was what's interesting about art fashion? I'm not saying this is your idea, but I'm just going to throw this out because it comes to my mind, is that sustainability is a big thing when it comes to fashion. Upcycling. Okay. That is that is literally kintsugi, where they're talking about taking things that were broken or damaged or whatever, and then turning it into something else. That is a whole idea. Like if you were to run sewing classes to teach people how to upcycle their garments, and now you've like gotten clothes out of a landfill, that is literally repairing the issue. What is the application? This application is for the Ted and Posca $15,000 residency. Okay, it's $15,000 residency. I would love to hear if you have an idea for a nail artist. I think I have one, but I'm not sure. Drop your idea. This isn't about what. Drop it. Yeah. You don't need to be sure. Go ahead. Can you get the nails to tell a story? Maybe that's the thing. So it's like, let me know what your idea is, right? Let me know what your idea is, because the thing is that they will accept any art form. It really is about whether or not it fits into the criteria of it repairing a local harm. And let me know where you're at. Hi, Clara. What's up? That is my love from Costa Rica. Hello. Okay. So yeah, let me know what you wanted to do on the breakdown for that one, and then I can give you a better understanding, and then we could talk about that art and fashion for the film. For anybody in here, and I know we have film and we have music artists. Music artists, all right? I know you gotta talk to me about what you wanted to do with the money, right? Because I think typically when people see a $15,000 grant, they immediately say to themselves, "Oh, I can take that money and do the thing I wanted to do." But like I said in the beginning, and what I will continue saying when it comes to any of these grants, is that they are not here to give you $15,000 for you to build exactly what it is that you wanted to build. It's much harder for you to find somebody who's going to give you that versus you being able to find an opportunity and then making your craft fit. That's what I do. That is what I do. I if you looked at me and was like, well, can you find a grant that like is specifically looking for me and they'll just give me money to do? I can't do that for you. If I had that ability, I'd do it for myself. I wouldn't even be on social media. I would do it for myself immediately. I just would find rich people and just be like, oh, I have an idea. You're going to get every single project that I did in order for me. These are all things I wanted to do, but in order for me to get the bread to do it, I had to reframe it to work with whatever they were asking for. Okay. That's how it works. And then the more yeses you get is the better you get at reframing your story. And it increases your likelihood of getting more yeses to the point where you're going to be able to start paying for your, you're going to be able to start doing this thing on your own. Like I don't know if we could see all the ones here. So this orange poster right here, that was my arts program. And I wanted to bring poets overseas to Costa Rica. That was my dream. That was my goal. I didn't know how I was going to do it. So that program, I pitched it as a English literacy program. That wasn't what I went into it, but they were like, hey, they were offering money for English literacy. And I was like, well, poetry could do that. Okay. So we got a music artist from North Nigeria. Fire. I love seeing the music artists. The thing about what I'm showing you all right, and we're going to go into the strategy real quick. I'm just going to go into what time is it? It's 8:11. So I want to go into the questions really quick so that I can talk to you guys about how to answer these questions, because I know that's the thing that gets everybody tripped up. All right. I'm going to go into talking about getting these questions answered. Okay. Cool. I know that's the thing that trips people up, all right? But in order for us to be able to go after what it is that we're looking for, we have to be strategic. I teach people how to open their minds. I actually got to be full screen for this. I got to be serious. I teach artists, creatives, entrepreneurs, founders how to open your mind. It is crucial. If you are on this video, if you are on this live, if you're seeing this afterwards when it's posted, you are watching this video with the idea that you are going to go into whatever it is with an open mind. The reason why I say that is because if you are able to spot opportunity, you will win. You will win. But if you look at these grants, you'd be like, okay, well, they're looking for this. So I'm not even going to. I'm a creative, which means that when I see a problem, I think to myself, how can I mold what it is I'm doing to fit what is in front of me? That is literally adaptability. Okay, literally adaptability. And that is what I'm here to teach people. So whatever it is that you do, we're going to adapt it. Okay. So nail artist, let me know what your thoughts are. Okay. Filmmaker, music artist, you're saying that you're a music artist. What is your idea that is going to repair your local community and it's going to involve other people? Let me know in the chat. All right. Because it has to do these two things and you need to be able to document it. All right. Now I told you I made this app that shows you exactly how to it shows you all of the strategy around it, right? You keep all your intellectual property. Documentation is mandatory. Your project will be filmed and turned into a short documentary. So it needs to be something that people can witness. Okay. This payment, that's also a good thing to note. The payment for the residency, the $15,000, is going to be split into 2 payments. You get $7,500 at the start and then $7,500 towards the end. And the residency is 6 months long. So if you're saying to yourself, you think you about to get a $15,000 check and then run off to the races, it means you also have to be strategic on the time frame. Okay. Mental health. So I'm just gonna read some more messages from the chat. Mental health panel center around self-expression as a community art and fashion show. Okay. Okay. We're gonna talk about your one-liner because okay, I think it's centered around self-expression as a community art show. I'm processing. Give me a second. I'm neurodivergent, so sometimes I gotta load. I was like, wait, what? Because this is I think I can show it. This is the comment that I'm reading right now. Okay. So let's say as this one is an example, right? So we have somebody here who has a mental health panel around self-expression as a community art and fashion show. So here's the recommendations that I would have for you, okay? First off, whoever is on the mental health panel should have some level of credentials, right? Some level of credentials would definitely help this out cuz just having people who are not licensed, it would just help your case here. Um, and then the community needs to be a part of whatever it is too. Okay. And then is this going to be a single event? Because the residency is 6 months long. So if you were to have like community art sessions and then it culminates in the art show, there's like that's a storyline somebody can follow. And then whatever if you are doing something on mental health, then whatever it is that you're doing, you have to connect it to your local community. So what is what statistics can you pull about your local community? Are there any issues with self-harm? Are there any issues with bullying? Are there any issues that are like rooted in where you are from that having a mental health panel would be something that would be effective? You see what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments. Okay, let's go. Next one. I want to host an intimate at-home concert event. Ooh, like So Far Sounds. I don't know if you ever heard of So Far Sounds, but that's super fire. It's more of a mixer where there are events and questions that people engage with each other while providing a platform for smart artists to perform. Definitely need to address this mode to address the community need. Yes. So intimate show, I immediately think of So Far Sounds. And I'm also noticing that everyone is choosing one-off events, right? Because you're selecting like a singular event. I think that the particularly for this residency, whatever you're doing needs to be a longer term project. It needs to be a longer term project. And the reason why the reason why I'm saying it should be a longer term project is because what makes something conceptually strong is your ability to show results. That is what it is. Your ability to show results, and results come over time, right? So you need to be able to take feedback from everybody who's coming in. Like, let's say it's mental health related or something like that. You come in and people are talking, like they're saying these things about their mental health. They're rating their how they're feeling or whatever those things are. And then when they leave, you do another survey, right? After the 6-month residency, whatever it is you did in the community, and then that way you can track. Because the whole idea of repair is that you need to be able to prove something's been repaired, right? I know that we are, as artists, we all say to ourselves that we're just like, well, if we create art, we'll just be better. And the room will be better and life will be better because of it. But if we want to go for this kind of bread, we're trying to get on to these kind of platforms. TED is huge. TED is a global storytelling platform. You know what I mean? This is a there are people who, would work for years and years and years trying to get onto a TEDx stage. You got to think to yourself, like, these are people who want to be able to tell a story that has true results. Okay. So that's what I'm here to help you do. And it's not that it isn't possible, right? I'm not saying that it isn't possible. I'm just putting into context that like it should be something long term and it should be something that you could show how you were able to actually make that impact. All right. I'm thinking of a series of art sessions to teach youth how to transform affirmations to visual art practices. art pieces. Fire. Fire. Okay. So then community context, where are you from? Why does it matter to the youth for them to have affirmations? Okay. And then if you could even get like a community partner to be a part of that, also fire. Right. And I think that repair, because it needs to be, since it's because the visual art piece is really what's going to be the key, because I know that there's guaranteed going to be a muralist out of these four. I'm going to make some assumptions. Again, I'm not with Ted, I'm not with Posca, I'm not with any of them. I'm going to make some assumptions. I think that there's going to be a muralist. I think there's going to be a music artist. I think that there's going to be film, and I even think there's going to be mixed media. I think there's going to be something like I don't know what you call that. Like I don't know if it would be sculpture or something like that, or like something along those lines where it's like out in the public, right? What do you how are you going to turn those art pieces into something? Um, okay, it's for youth in low income housing. Okay, fire. So here's the thing about it, and now I'm going to ask, how does affirmations repair that? Do you see what I'm saying? You got to help me with this. Got to help me with this. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you my idea. All right. I am pitching for this project, and I'm going to tell you all my idea. And most people say that you shouldn't do this, right? Because they're just like, yo, you can't be putting your ideas out into the world. You don't know who's going to see it. I'm going to tell you my idea right here, right now. Okay. I have submitted this idea like maybe to two different programs, two different grants. I wasn't accepted to either one of them, right? Because I don't win all the time. But I'm going to tell you guys my idea, and I'm going to explain to you why I chose it for this particular residency, okay? And my idea was called Planted Seeds. It's called Planted Seeds. That's what we're going to call it right now, right? And what it is, I'm a poet. So what I wanted to do was that I was going to host writing workshops with people in my local community. Philadelphia is a food desert. Okay. Philadelphia is a food desert. So one of the things that I wanted to do is that I was like, all right, you know what? I am going to host these workshops where we are going to write poems, and people are going to write poems about hunger. Not hunger in the sense of like what they want to feed their stomach, but hunger in terms of what they want for their lives. Okay. How channeling whatever that feeling is into the hunger that people want. What is going to fuel you to go after your dreams and to follow your goals? Okay. That is what the every ounce of the workshop is going to be talking about. What can we do to create our recipe for success? Right? The hunger inside of us all. Now, all right, all the individuals who are going to be writing these poems at the end, all right, we're going to be taking recyclables from the actual recycling facilities. And you can then turn all those recyclables into something called seed paper. All right, seed paper is essentially paper that you can print on that you could also put food seeds inside of it. I'm working with a local community garden. Those poems are then going to be printed onto seed paper. And every single one of these students are going to plant their poems into the ground. Within 6 months of the residency completion, they will be able to harvest their poems. Do you see what I mean by local context and repair? Do you see what I mean? Like how closely connected. Now, mind you, I'm a poet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about like, oh, I'm a host of open mic or whatever. It's because it's literally in the local community where it's like, okay, this is the problem that we're facing inside Philadelphia. I'm going to get the community involved. And then that is something that they could document over time. They could document us putting it into the ground and then come back, 3 months later, and then it's here. Okay. It's conception. This is what I mean by that. And the idea that I just gave you, that's why I'm saying you could extrapolate it to whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. You just got to be creative. You got to be like, yo, how can I make it work? How can I make it work? And I'm so excited. And I've pitched, mind you, I think it's a great idea. And I pitched it to 2 other people and they said no. you know? So like I always hold it in the back of my mind where it's like, okay, if I get, another environmental grant or I see something like this, when they talk about visible mending, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Because I can, not only do I get rid of waste, I also help solve the problem of like it being a food desert, and it also brings it, and it's all in poetry. Thank you. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the love. Okay. So that is the idea that I have, but that's why I'm telling you my idea. I'm telling you my idea because I want you to break down the where you're like, oh damn, okay, I see what you mean. You know what I mean? That's directly related to the community that you're going to do it in. It involves the community. They can document it over time, and there's also clear outcomes. It's very clear. You write the poems, clear outcome. You plant the seeds, clear outcome, and then you bear the fruit, clear outcome. So it's not, so when TED goes to read my application, they're not saying no to me. They're saying no to the people who need food in my local community. That's how you get people to say yes. That's how you get people to say yes. When you write these applications, you're not writing them so they're like, oh, okay, you don't feel no personal attack. You're not writing it so that they look at you and be like, Queena, yes, or Queena, no, that's not it. You're writing these applications because if they say no, they are saying no to the people that you are going to impact. That's how you win. Let's go into these questions really quick because I got to get ready for, I have a workshop tomorrow and I've been trying to be a morning person if you saw my series. So I'm definitely going to be going to bed later tonight. So we'll see how that all goes. Okay, so let's go through the questions really quick so I can show you all how I would answer these, okay? Okay, so describe the project you would like to develop as part of the residency, the central idea, the intended location and context. Okay. The reason why they have a max on the words is because they want to make sure that whatever you're saying is concise. The more concise, the better you are at telling your story quickly in 1 or 2 lines is how it's going to be. So example for my idea, I would say something along the lines of the central idea is that my local community is a food desert, and I will be working with local artists to create poems that are turned into seeds that will be planted for food. I'll probably make that, I'll zhuzh that up a little bit. But the thing is that you want to write the answer to each one of these questions. You want to write 2 to 3 words for each one of these. Intended location, like Southwest Philadelphia. How will people engage? Be a part of workshops. Like I need you, when you write this, it needs to be like 5 words max. And then you do that for each one of these, and you're going to end up with a blob. Then you turn that into 2 to 3 sentences. That's how truly you get to the 500 mark. You don't write like a whole page and then try to drop it down, because that's going to be impossible, especially if you got an artist that I think you are. You're going to see that and you'll be like, nah, I can't get rid of that. That's my favorite line. All right. How does it connect to this year's theme, visible mending, as a broader residency framework around repair, hope, and beauty? All right. If any questions, please drop them in the chat, because I'm going to be on here we'll do another 10 minutes. Okay. What do you do per portfolio if it's your first grant? Okay. So if I understand your question, it's like, what do you show people if it's the first time you're showing people something? Do they ask for a portfolio? Oh, they ask for work samples. What do you have? You have something. You have something. And if you don't already have a because I see that there's a website portfolio link request on here. If you don't already have a portfolio, you should make a website. Yeah, if you're applying for grants or you're really going to take this, you should get a website. And then you have done something. So talk to me about what you have done, and then I can tell you how you could turn it into something. Because everyone starts somewhere. And that somewhere is 0. That's somewhere at zero. But you could do a lot with technology nowadays to convince somebody that you are perfectly capable of handling something. You know what I mean? So yeah, let me know what you got. All right. Please drop any questions that you have inside of the chat, and I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so for the budget proposal, a simple bullet point breakdown is sufficient at this point, which means you have to have an understanding about how much you're gonna get paid, how much the production cost is gonna be, how much is gonna cost you to activate, and how much is going to cost you to document. Ideas for this is like, you're gonna need memory cards. Maybe part of that 15,000 is getting a camera. Maybe a part of that is, getting paint or paper or things like that. So you definitely want to create something that is simple, but this is also again something that you could put into the interwebs and get that solved. Great. Okay. Community engagement approach, right? So there's a project, the budget, the community, documentation, materials. Okay. Now, uh wait, I think that there was the nail. Sorry, Trinity. I was looking for you. I was just like, where's Trinity at? I feel like I'm missing stuff inside Instagram because it's like it don't show up on StreamYard. But if you're in here, I'm gonna get to your questions. Focused, Gennaro. I'm gonna go ahead and just blessings if on the name. I have an idea here in my community. We have issues like tribes killing each other. Whoa, okay. There is no peace in this side, so I think I can write about it and sing so that we have peace and unity again. That's fire. Yeah, that's not the tribal part, but the fact that you want to do the singing and things like that. Um, and it is like it is an option. The thing is that I want the thing that I would, because I'm be honest with every idea that you have. One, you're saying I think I can write and sing about it. So the central of your idea is you, and as the next section alludes, community participate. It is mandatory that that you are not the center point of this grant. And if you are in this chat and you're like, okay, well, I was going to do what I was going to do, this isn't going to work. It's not. You're not. Your chances aren't going to, because the whole idea is that it's going to impact the community. Impact the community and involve the community. So you have to tell me about how you're going to do that. Trinity Nails. I want to help women coming out of prison and find a new life with teaching them how to create a business in the beauty industry as someone that did the exact same thing. Oh, that's so fire. That's so fire. You know what's interesting? I think you might have something. Hold on there. You see this? Because it's the residency framework around repair, hope, and beauty. It clicked into my head when you said beauty industry. And then repair is the same idea as like reform. You know what I'm saying? Trinity, are you still in here? Let me know if you're still in here, because we might do a little breakdown on your John. If you still in here, we might do a little breakdown on your John. Because the creating the business part, it needs to yeah, I might have to think about that. I also have to put it into context too, because as much as I want, like, I would assist people who are coming out of prison or reform, I also think that you're going to have to take a strategic approach to articulate who these people are, because you got to think about the name. Anytime a grantor is giving you money, they are putting their name on your project. That's what they're doing. They're saying, I support that. Right? So there are people who won't put their name on my project because of what I look like, where I'm from, or what I'm doing. And that's up to them. I mean, it's their money, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, but what I'm saying is that, like, in order for, I don't know if it would make any difference here. I do think that it would be a good idea, because that is genuinely repair. The thing is that I want to acknowledge that comes to a thought in my mind. So if you're still here, oh, you're still here. Sweet. We're gonna get into you. Okay. Let me see what some of these other, y'all asking all these questions as soon as I'm about to leave. Y'all funny. Would a photo project and documentary work? Of course. Absolutely. You just got to do the, you know what I mean? The same thing that was just talking about. Like, what are the two, how those two questions? If you can answer those two questions for me, I can really think you through what's going on right now. I think I have created an idea that can last. So good to know. Perfect. Perfect. Glad you got an idea that can work. All right. Could this be given to an artist who has an ongoing project? I've also received one grant in 2024 from the state of New Jersey. Oh, fire. Were you one of the individual? Because I think they have the individual artist fellowship is out right now. I don't know if any poets are in here. I think it's poetry and prose or something like that. So if you're in New Jersey, there is a grant right now that you could apply for as an individual artist. And so the answer to the ongoing project, again, I'm not from TED, so I do think they have an email or something like that that you could ask. I would probably I don't see an issue with that though. The only thing I would say with the ongoing project is that like it's something um I don't know how far it's gone on. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you've been doing it for 20 years and then like TED comes involved, how could they show how that money or that thing grew it? If anything, I would say that you should create some kind of branch of the ongoing project. Like, let's say like I have Verse Rising, which is my arts program. If I decided with this money I wanted to create a, you know, Voice Rising, like another program, like I've been doing this for so long, but I'm gonna create another program, that would be helpful. If I have Instagram page and years of photos, does that work? Don't have a website. Make one. Make one. Yeah, make one. Why? Why the hesitation on not making a website? Yeah, just that, not especially now where you could just have that John done in like 15, 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Just say what you wanted to do. In fact, you could be going to some of these the AI websites and just give them a link to your Instagram and say, turn my Instagram into a website. Right. And the reason why I say that you should have a website is because if you don't treat your art and your craft like something that should be invested in, then people are not going to invest into it. Okay. Name a multi-million dollar brand or $1 million brand, $100,000 brand that does not have a website. TED has a website. You know what I'm saying? Posca has a website. They all have, because it's a signal much more than it is just for you to have a domain name. Okay. Much more than that. All right. Oh, okay. You're not eligible. Okay, well, no worries. You know, that individual artist grant. Okay. So yeah, in terms of the nail art, dang. See, that's the thing. Like, I do think there it is risky business when it comes to anything that has to do with prison, because there's a particular person who's going to say yes to that. And they're likely gonna, just because it's a brand, you know what I mean? They're gonna be safe. You know what I'm saying? Especially a brand like that, you know? Oh, grab coffee. That'd be fire. I'm not going, yeah, we probably gonna have to grab a matcha. Coffee make my heart beat. You know, coffee make my heart beat. I don't know about all that. Oh, you tech challenge? Oh, no worries. I got you. I might have to do a whole nother session just on how to create a website, as you know, just so people, because I feel like, you know, these are all mandatory. I talked about this in like one of my last videos when I talked about being a full-time artist, that you need to look like what you want to ask for. If you don't look like you can handle $15,000, you're not going to get $15,000. And what I mean by look like, I mean you have photos, videos, website, a budget, you need to look, matter of fact, you need to look like you can do more than 15. You know what I'm saying? It needs to look like you've already engaged in this before, even if you've never done it. And it's perfectly possible. Okay, cool. So let's go through the rest of these questions. Drop any of your questions in the chat. I'm gonna be answering as I go through the rest of these application questions. Because we got a few more minutes. Okay. The community engagement approach. How community participation is a core part of the residency model. This is why I be telling you, you have to include other people. How do you imagine people participating in, contributing, and interacting with the project? Okay. So imagine if you had let's say it was the benefit series. Okay. Let's say you did that concert benefit series. Did you see recently there was a video that went viral don't know if you guys saw it, but it was pick up the phone and tell me your good news. And a guy walks over to the phone and he says that he's like, hey, my dad's cancer free. I don't usually do this internet stuff, but it just seemed like a good thing for me to say. So I'm gonna say this to you, right? Beautiful moment. Very simple. It was a phone. It was a red phone and it said, tell me the good news. Now imagine when it says interacting with your project, that something like that, if you were to have like a phone inside of an event where somebody can talk about like what it made them feel or how, now again it's about documentation. You could take that and turn that into more things. Okay. How are you going to get the community involved? The community needs to be involved in every portion of whatever it is that you're building. Okay. So if you want to do the nails, then you need to connect with a community group who already works inside of the prisons, right? And then the people who, are in your community. And I'm assuming that your local area probably has, if there's issues with recidivism, right? Rates or anything like that, those are going to be helpful. Okay. That's going to be documentation and storytelling. All right. You already know these people are like, they be shooting cinematic documentaries. You don't have to be top of the tier in being able to document your journey, but you need to be somebody who does document, somebody who takes pictures, somebody who takes videos, somebody who can tell a story. That's what they want. That's what they want. Like anytime somebody goes for these kind of grants and they give up this kind of money is because they want to put their name on something that looks good, sounds good, and does good. And then they can say, I'm good because I did those things. Okay. I'm not BSing you. I'm telling you from my heart and my soul. I know there's a context out there where it's just like, nah, this is charity and they're going to like help artists be able to be artists. And like, no, this is real work. Think about this. You see this application? This John is real work. You're talking about free money. What? Folks gonna have to really sit down. You know what I mean? It would take me like 2-3 hours to write this John. So how do you imagine documenting the process? So I would say doing that through photos, doing that, and not just through the documentation on the cinematic level, but be able to also talk about if you can work with a storyteller in your local community. Also talk about how you're going to be able to take surveys or feedback from the community as you go through it. Posca materials. As part of the residency, participating artists will receive Posca materials to support the development of their project. Now, Posca, I'm pretty sure, makes markers, which kind of made me scratch my head a little bit because I was like, what am I going to do with their markers? You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole other thing you got to think about. I understand it's work. Some folks be like, dang, I got to like revisit my idea. I got to do all this. I get the friction. And honestly and truly, the way that I choose grant opportunities is completely based on how much I want to mold the, whatever friction I got going on in my soul. Work samples. All right. So the person who was also talking before where they were like, yo, I only got a few things or whatever. Go ahead and let me know what it is that you got in terms of work samples. I'm gonna go through this the chat for any questions. It's called You, Me, and Our Heritage. Is a documentary photography project exploring what it means to be an American today through portraits and stories of immigrants, first gen and Black Americans. Fire. Okay, so you already got the community portion because people are going to have to be a part of the photo series that you have. The question that I would talk about is the repair part. And keep in mind the theme is visible mending. Kintsugi is when you take the broken pieces and you turn it into something beautiful. And you need to be able to see that happen in real time. And the closer you get to that alignment is the greater chance of success. So it's saying to you, and I mean like concretely, how does taking people's photos heal the issue that you are healing? Right? Now where it's just like, oh, they get to tell their stories or they get to, do, how does it act like it needs to be tangible. It needs to be tangible. Excuse me, these are blueberries. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I was fasting, so All about the fruits. Okay. Let's see here. In the anything else you'd like to know section, I'm gonna give you my trick that I do every single time I see this. I'm not saying you got to do it, and it's extra because I'm extra. But the thing that I do when they say anything else you'd like to know, I always create a PDF file. Okay. I create a PDF file and put in here because a PDF, I can put multiple things inside of it. I can put a video, I can put graphics, I can put explanation, whatever. And I'm the kind of person who would put a video of myself pitching my project and why they should choose me. Why would I want to do that? Because no one else is doing it. And what did I say in the beginning of this call? Different is better than better. Every time I do something, I want to be the anomaly. I want them to be looking at me like, dang, nah, she really gonna do this. And there's no reason why we shouldn't give her the money. There's no reason. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful situation. Okay? Beautiful situation. Okay, so let me see if there's anything on the strategy that we need to get in here. Okay, so last but not least, on my actual app, which by the way, my app right now, there is a beta for my app. It is wingrants.io. You could sign up for the wait list. It is a full database, but more importantly, you can search any grant, right? So like you could put the link of a grant into the database and it will do all the research and strategy for you. So everything that I'm saying right now, it will automatically do that for you. So you just put in the link and it will tell you everything about the grant and then how to win. It'll also do an analysis on anyone that's won in the past so that you can know where you stand against them. Okay. And this is the strategy it has given me for this particular opportunity. Number one, name your wound, then your repair. As in, what is the problem? What is your solution? Open your 500-word proposal by naming the specific form of fragmentation or isolation your community is experiencing. Like in my world, it was food desert or food insecurity. Then immediately pivot to describing how your project's participatory structure is the mechanism of repair, not just the setting for it. It means that it is the actual method on how you're going to solve this problem. Next, give your practice a name. Oh, it's my favorite thing to do. Name whatever it is you do. Trinity with the nails, whatever the program that you want to create, name it. Give it something proprietary so that the framework matter of fact, you should know, everybody in this chat, whatever you do, if you give it a name, it already sounds better. It already sounds better. It already sounds like you already got your things situated. Already sounds like it. And last but not least, map your project's geographic reach. Even if your project has a primary location, explicitly name other cities, communities, or partner sites your project will touch or travel to, because the panel appears to read local rootedness as a starting point for outward reach rather than as a geographic boundary. I would use this context in the sense where when this project is successful in Philadelphia, it could then scale to communities around the globe. Projects that's... Sorry, I heard... I was like, was that a bug? Projects that scale are the ones that stand out. It really did sound like a bug. I don't know what that was. I don't know if I just moved quick or something like that. I'll be alert because I don't mess with bugs. All right, so I'm going to hop into the chat, answer any final questions, because I got like 2 more minutes out of my life. Okay, so focused. My people here fight back every time. Nobody is thinking of reconciliation with that song. We could fix that. Yeah, I hear you. I think what I want to talk about is how. Like how. And not just, and you're also saying a specific song. The residency is 6 months long. So like if your idea is to create something like We Are the World, that like it's like the question that I ask you is, what is the outcome going to be? You know what I mean? Like, what is the outcome going to be for like, and then how can you measure that outcome? I don't know why that glitch keeps happening, but okay. Do I have an email? My email is in my bio, my thing, my whatever you call it. the thing on social media where you could go to the top of the page and click buttons. What's the name of your program, Trinity? Let me know the name of your program. Let me know the name of your program. Please, any final questions that you have about this application? I want you all to apply. I hope I did not discourage you, but I am going to be honest with you. Some of these applications are like a bit more strategic, especially if they're only accepting 4 people, you know. And I'm going to be honest with you about who they're going to choose. And I honestly think it would behoove you and so many other people, because that video that I posted about the grant, it got over, maybe it's like 200,000 views right now, right? Let's say 200,000 people saw that. I think maybe like 1,000, 2,000 people clicked the link to actually apply to that program. I don't want people to spend their time and energy to apply for something if they don't actually qualify, or they're going to spend so much time trying to create an application that isn't setting them up for success. Where it's like, if they don't listen to this masterclass, right? Again, I'm not a part of the organization. I can't determine who's the winner. But hearing something like this where you say to yourself, like, okay, wait, hold up. Here's how I'm going to do it. Here's how I'm going to, shake it up, or whatever the case may be. If you don't listen to something like this, you can go in there and be like, hi, I'm John. I want to make a rap album. And my rap album is going to make everyone feel better. You should give me $15,000 because everyone's going to feel good once they hear it. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, there's so much more. Oh, it doesn't? Okay, hold up. It doesn't? Right now, I'm going to be 100 with you. I'm going to give it to you, but we definitely not going to be able to link until after the competition. So I don't know if you guys know right now, but I am competing for the World Championships of Public Speaking. I know, shocking. You would think it's wild. I'm out here I'm out here talking for a living. It's Star Garden. I thought it was Star Garden. Okay. I'm out here talking for a living. So this next 45 days is going to be strictly focused on these next few days is going to be these next few weeks is going to be strictly focused on preparing for the World Championships, because I want to become the best speaker in the world, so that I'm providing more opportunities to head out there and be able to meet more artists, and then also talk to more artists about what it is that I'm doing, what it is that I'm building, right? So, all right. So I see 2 more questions and then we're gonna wrap up. Are you going to do another one of these? Not for this grant. No, I'm so sorry. This is what you got from me, right? Because again, right now I am completely focused on the World Championships. I don't know if real mama, you still in here? I'm gonna show you something real quick, real mama. Because when I tell you I just made my website for the championships today, literally today. I'm gonna show you this. And I made this website in less than hold up, I gotta see this. Boom, there we go. Share this tab in there. Boom. It's not live yet. We'll do it like this. I'll probably make it live. This will probably be live maybe tomorrow or the day after. Right? So right now I'm going for the World Championships and I'm trying to get people to donate to, that journey if you're interested. Again, the site isn't up right now, so I'm not here to pitch you on it, although it would be lovely if you supported me when you see it on there. But I built this thing from like 2 or 3 prompts. And the whole goal of it is for people to donate. And they could also like train, because I have this like training thing here where you could like do different challenges. Like I done made games. I done made games out here where you could do different challenges. Like, what does community mean to you? And then when you start, then you essentially talk about the topic for 60 seconds. That way you can get better at public speaking. Okay. Let me go back to the website. But yeah, I made this whole website. You know, it ain't fully finished yet. So don't, you know, all these like things here, stuff like that. But this was literally 2 or 3 prompts. That's why I say like you don't need much. I took a few photos and I put them in there. That's what it looks like. All right. And that's how simple it is. That's why I say that you got to do this. So this platform particularly that I use to create this is Manus. Now, Lovable is very easy, right? So if you wanted to build your website, I would suggest Lovable. Manus is also easy too, but like, you know, it's not the most popular platform is probably Lovable, and then this one is Manus. And that is let me show you what that looks like. This is Manus. Hold up. Okay, cool. I just wanted to show you what this is. Manus. This is a company that Facebook just bought, or Meta, I should really say. Meta bought this company, and they're not really popular when it comes to the to websites. The only reason I used them was because I had mad credits, and I was like, well, I need this website up, so that's what I ended up using. You know what I mean? But again, you know, that's the pure purpose of the site. You know, it don't need to be anything too crazy. And honestly, if you even if you just tell it like, hey, I want to make a portfolio, I don't really have much, but you know, turn it into something, and it'll do that for you. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be focused on. I'm focused on the World Championship. So I will be back working on grants and things like that as soon as I get back. I won't say as soon as I get back, probably 2 weeks after. So maybe around September. But no worries, because I'm telling you right now, make sure you're following me. I don't know if anyone's on here that is not following me, but please be sure to follow me, because when I do get back and I start creating some more content around the grants, September is grant season. Right now, there are grants that exist, but they get heavy in September, because that's when people are like, but in the last quarter is when people are getting rid of their money. When they got to get rid of their money, they got to use it or they lose it. So that a lot of people will create grant opportunities. So they're going to be out there, and I need you to be quick. And you're going to have your website ready, right? Real Soul Mama. Okay. If we have more questions after the video, can we put the questions in the comments? Absolutely. I got you in the comments. How do you balance your time to make planning and executing the projects, also your own life, like work and relationship in the real world? I don't balance. I don't have a work-life balance. No. That'd be lovely. It'd be cute, but no, I don't. So here's the real answer to your question. I do this full time. What you're seeing right now, I do full time. I survived completely and solely off of grants for the last 6 years. And then it wasn't until February that I got real consistent about making content. Like I built this office and I was like, I'm going to go all in on content. And I have been able to like, you know, pull together, you know what I mean? Scratch 2 quarters and survive, you know what I mean? Through each one of these quarters. So I don't have work-life balance, because my life is my work and my work is my life. Right. So there isn't much balance when it comes to that. In terms of planning and executing my projects, I am somebody who does projects on a short-term basis, which means I don't want to do projects longer than 3 months max. I want a quarter, because I got squirrel mind. You feel me? I'll be out here. I'm shiny object all the way. Like I have them all rooted in the same thing. Like I want to help artists, or I want to like perform, or I want to speak, or whatever. But like I make sure that my projects are in the shorter term. In terms of relationships, honestly and truly, I'm an isolated being. I am a hermit. So I don't know if I'm the best person to talk to about how to balance it all. And I say that because I moved to Philadelphia, but it's a whole new city, it's a whole new community. So I don't even really know people who are here. I go to events and I kind of just like meet people, and I'm building my community now. And then, you know, I'm also single. So it's like there's levels to where it's like this season of my life, I've completely and utterly dedicated to the dream, and I've been doing that for years. You know what I mean? So like before, when I was working, like just probably my last job for was maybe like 7 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, I was balancing it, but like there was no, that was normal to me. You know what I mean? It was normal to me. And I wanted what I wanted so bad that it didn't matter. So that's what I would say. And it's not for the weak. I'm not even about to like try to convince you that it's like, it's some glory in all of it, because it took me 13 years in order for me to become a full-time artist. To me, 13 years. I've delivered Ubers, Eats, and like, worked at Amazon. Like, I've had more jobs than I've had fingers and toes. So if you want to have a conversation about how to keep going throughout all of it, then we can have a conversation. But if you want to talk to me about like, hey, how do you just like make it work? I don't know. I don't know how to do that. But yo, I appreciate every single one of you for hopping into this video, listening to me rant, all the keys. I hear the church bells ringing, literally, ding, ding, because it is 9 o'clock. I should be in bed, because if you guys don't know, I'm trying to become a morning person. Okay. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the luck. Thank you so much for the love. Please look out for the website, because I would really appreciate if any of you, if you found any value, if you could just donate $1, because I have to get to this world championship and I know it's going to cost me some bread. So please, if you are interested in donating, be sure to check me out. Check out the website. I'll put it into the YouTube caption, because by the time the YouTube video comes out, and this is going to be up on YouTube. Yes, at the moment I end this stream, it'll be up on my YouTube channel. You can find my YouTube channel at the link in my bio. Okay. All right. Really appreciate you all. I'm going to have to stop this now, because I know every time I see a question, I always want to be in there and answer it. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. Keep creating, keep building. I promise you the opportunity exists, and I'm here to help you win it. Catch you in the next one.